Next on Channel 17, This Old House.
This Old House is made possible by member support and by a grant from Phillips Brothers Supply, 2525 Kensington Avenue, Amherst, specializing in tools for contractors, industry, homeowners, and hobbyists.
If I did the design, I would always put the bathrooms all together in one core group that goes up through. But that's not real life.
Now just suppose we get all the wedges down and nothing happens.
And the door is not hinged, it's attached to the pull-out shelf unit. And you have adjustable shelves there.
That's great.
Funding for This Old House is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of Carver Trip wood stains, clear finishes, and enamels, products that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by State Farm Insurance and the more than 17,000 State Farm agents. For family insurance needs, auto, home, life, and health, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas. Welcome to This Old House. Isn't this a beautiful set of stairs out of this really lovely Vermont granite? Well, today we return to Rock University, where Roger Hopkins is going to continue teaching me how to split stone. Also, we head off to a kitchen design center with Barbara Wickwire, our homeowner, to begin laying out our kitchen cabinets. And just earlier, I met with Richard Trethewey, our plumbing and heating contractor, to get his estimation of the state of the pipes. Gee, Richard, did you bring the whole warehouse with you?
It certainly looks it, doesn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
You know, on a job like this, we found the best way is to bring all the material we might use. In this case, it's the PVC pipe and fittings, and get them set up on the job so we can readily pick the parts we might need.
Mm-hmm. So this is your stockpile.
Yep. And what we have discovered scientifically is no matter how many parts we bring, we always need one more, and we have to call back for it.
What's happening over in this corner?
Well, you remember our septic tank is right outside here.
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of our drain, waste, and vent system. We've come with our main drain pipe in. We've put a clean out right here, which is important to be able to clean that line should anything ever clog into it.
So you always do that when the waste line penetrates the foundation?
Foundation, and also at any change of direction. So this is an application where both are occurring.
Okay.
Now from here, we're going to run off and begin a pretty straightforward drain, waste, and vent system. In this house, you've got bathrooms on that side, and you've got bathrooms and laundry on this side. We decided to make a break right here and serve that group with one run, and to come down here and serve the other half. Okay? Down here, it's a pretty straightforward job again. We've used, at this point, there'll be a clean out right here, again, at a change of direction.
Right. Okay.
And over here, we run over and we are underneath our first bathroom group on the first floor. Now, what you're seeing here is the first Y fitting will go over to our lavatories, which are over at the far side. Our next break on the line is our vent stack. Now, we need to run one full-sized vent pipe up through the house, continuing out through the roof to act and vent all our fixtures and take exhaust gases to atmosphere.
So that's real critical.
But it's even more critical on a job like this, which is post and beam, because there's no real place to run it. And I'll show you upstairs later. Okay. It's a real challenge. The next piece here is, this runs over to our toilet on the first floor. This breaks off and goes to our shower on the first floor. And this is going to be our vent, which will serve both the toilet and the shower.
Now, I notice there's quite a bit of pitch here. This starts high and starts to run down lower here.
I think you can see that, can't you? I mean, at this point, from the beam, we're what, 3.5 inches here.
Yeah, really.
And as you look against the triple lamp, you can kind of get a sense of how much pitch we have.
Now, do you want a lot of pitch or a little pitch? How do you determine the pitch?
People tend to think the more pitch, the better. We actually want it to only be 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch per foot, so that both liquids and solids will run together and be a trouble-free system.
Okay. Now, I notice a clear joint here. What's that?
That's called an expansion joint. If you had a bathtub filled with water and dumped it into the drain and then flushed the toilet, there'd be different temperatures running through this pipe. Now, this material's got a particular expansion coefficient.
PVC?
Yes, it's PVC. So you have to put a joint like this in, which will actually move in and out. There's some rubber gaskets in there and some grease.
So when it gets hot, it expands. This thing sort of goes together. When it gets cold, it contracts.
Right.
And
If you didn't do it, you would put undue strain on either fitting at either end of the run because it would be working against it.
Okay. Now, you said you had some challenges upstairs.
Yeah, let me show you them. They're quite unique to post and beam.
Richard, this building is so tight that we've decided that we should install an air-to-air heat exchanger.
Steve, the exchanger is a great idea, but it requires a certain number of ducts to be run. And what Tony and the guys have found is that those ducts are vying for the same spaces as our pipes want to be. Let me show you in the bathroom here. This is that same bathroom group that we were just below. And let me cite you a little bit. This is where our lavatory sink will be. This is the drain and vent that will continue up through and tie back in and go through the roof, ultimately.
Yeah. This all looks pretty straightforward to me.
It is. Originally, we were going to run our vent stack right in here and pad the wall, that full-size pipe that we were talking about, but we found out that all these bays are being used by the air-to-air exchanger people.
Taking up your real estate.
So we moved over here, and this is our full-size stack that will continue through the roof here in the front hall closet.
Now, I noticed you've changed from PVC to cast iron here.
Well, when we looked at the plan and realized that the great room is right there, we changed this material to cast iron so that the sound would be reduced in the living space.
Okay.
We could have run PVC and just insulated it, but this seemed to be just as cost-effective a way of doing it. Okay.
Now, you said you had something in the kitchen, too?
Yeah, let me show you that. That's a place where we're, again, fighting the duct system. Okay? Good plumbing, Steve, wants to be in the walls, out of sight, and hopefully not heard. Now, traditionally, what we would have done is taken this stack, which is serving our bathroom and laundry above, and put it inside this wet wall. Okay? Again, these spaces are being used by the air-to-air exchanger people, so we have to leave it out exposed and they'll have to box it in. Here you can see what post and beam construction does to us a little more. This above us is the tub, right above us, and the drain for the tub will be about here. Normally, we would love to run this branch up and come over tight to the wall, tight to the ceiling, and service it, but we obviously can't drill through this beam. So we have to keep it low, again, exposing our pipes and not being as professional as we'd like to be.
So they'll have to drop a ceiling in here.
Right. So let me show you what I'm talking about, though, because after this point, everything gets open to the ceiling, and we have to try and hide the pipes. Let me take you upstairs.
Okay.
Okay, Steve, here's our bathroom group, our master bathroom group right here, but I want to show you over here because I think it's a lot clearer. This is our number 2 bath group that we were just below in the kitchen. The first thing that's unique about this is this whole floor system had to be built up to accept the pipes and the ducts that are going to be up in this unit. So that's one thing that needed to be done.
Yeah, Norm and I reviewed this earlier.
Now looking here, now Tony is roughing in for our toilet, which is going to come across here, and here will be our toilet. Behind him will be a lavatory right over about here, okay? Now traditionally we would run through the joist bays over to that lavatory.
Right.
But we discovered that each of these 3 bays are being used by the air-to-air exchanger people for their ducts.
Where they're greedy.
Yeah, they're greedy. They need all the space they can get. Also over here, we have a washer and a dryer, okay? Now normally we would branch off, like Tony's doing, right over to here, serve our washing machine with a trap, and then continue our vent up through the roof.
Yeah, what's the problem there?
Well, this stops right here.
I see.
So now
This is all open here.
This is all open, so the partition ends right here. So now, what are our choices? We could run the vent back inside the wall, as we normally would do, but we can't do that because this is a stress skin panel.
Right.
So in this application, they're going to build a knee wall for us with a wonderful little shelf.
Now, why can't you bring the vent back up here, go straight up, out the roof here?
Well, now we're going to come through here, but now we have one more code restriction, which is these skylights, and there's many of them, are operable windows, and the code says we have to be a certain distance away from that. So working along with Tommy to get this partition will go all the way to the ceiling, plus the next one over, and we're going to work our vent all the way back and exit up near the junction of that purlin and all the structure right there.
So where all those wires are
That's
coming out
right.
of the ceiling?
We're gonna make it disappear over there, we hope.
Okay. Well, this really is looking like a challenge. It's more like remodeling than new construction.
Well, it is. If you were designing this building from a mechanical standpoint, if I did the design, I would always put the bathrooms all together in one core group that goes up through. But that's not real life. So what the moral of the story is that you have to be able to have some flexibility between the designer, the general contractor, the owner, and then all the mechanical trades to work together for that valuable real estate, because it's a real fight.
Yeah. Okay, Rich, thanks a lot for the tour. We'll check in with you frequently, but I better go find Norm.
Great.
See you later. Okay, oh, it's too tight. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Hey, Steve. Hello.
Hi, Steve.
How are you guys doing?
Good. Great.
Hey, Tom, Johnny. So what's happening?
Well, we're trying to finish up this recessed entranceway here, and it takes a little bit of work, you know, because the post and beam framing that surrounds these windows and that door is really two things. It's the framing and it's the finish on the inside. The window units slip up against this little rabbet here and provides the finish on the outside, on the inside.
So you have to be pretty precise.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's happening out here? You gonna put a piece of casing?
After the door goes in, there'll be a wide casing that goes from window jamb to door jamb.
Now, this door is only about a 24-inch door, so it's not really going to be used.
It's good for letting the cat out, you know?
Okay.
Just a narrow
Good.
door.
Cat will be happy about
Yeah,
that.
it's more for looking out at, that's all.
Okay, now, how are you going to finish this off here?
Well, you know, it's so small. If you put a corner board and a piece of trim, you'd end up with like 1-inch clapboard. So I think a board all the way and a nice little corner piece in here.
And how about the ceiling detail up there?
Up top, we'll throw in a piece of stress skin up there, and probably a piece of plasterboard underneath that, and then just a trim board over the beam up top.
All right, and then we still have, what, a step here or something? How does
Yeah,
this
we're going
work?
to come out here. We'll come out to one step down onto a wooden platform, and then another step down to the granite step, and that's it.
Boy, there's a lot of work that goes into just a small area like this. You really don't realize it.
That's right.
Okay, well, I won't hold you guys up, nor will I offer to help.
Thanks,
See you later.
Steve.
But out here, this detail came out very nicely. Earlier, I had a lesson from Roger on how to cut these stones. Well, what's our first job, Roger?
We want to split this stone so that we can put it on the cap of the wall.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, there's a number of ways.
Karate?
No. I think we'll use these feathers and wedges.
Yeah.
What they are is you have two shims and a wedge. And when they're inserted into a hole that we drill in the stone, it'll supply the force to split the stone.
So how do we drill the holes?
Well, there's a number of methods that we can do this with. The oldest method, and probably the hardest, is to use what we call a star drill.
Now, why do they call it a star drill? For the pattern here?
Yes, it's the pattern on the drill here, and what this has is a hardened tip on here, and you hit it and turn it.
Hit it and turn it?
Yeah.
That's it, huh?
Why don't you try it?
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
Looks like fun.
All right, now Steve, you got to turn that drill as you're hitting it.
So hit and
After
turn.
you hit it, turn it, hit it, turn it, turn it.
This is it, huh?
Yeah. Now, after you get down deep in the hole, you have to start working the dust out of there.
Why is that?
Well, it will slow the whole process down.
Now, how do you get the dust out, Roger?
Well, with the star drill, you probably would have to get like a thin tool to reach down in there and pry it out.
Now, how many holes did you say we had to drill with this implement?
6.
6, huh? Well, you have something else to do? I figure by about lunchtime I ought to have them drilled.
Well, why don't we try something a little
All right.
faster? Another method is what we have here is a rotary hammer, electric. And
Now, this just looks like a regular electric drill.
well, it has some of the features of electric drill, except this will hit and turn, hit
Okay.
and turn, just like the star drill.
I see. And what kind of a tip is on here?
What you see here is a heavy piece of carbide welded onto this hardened steel.
Now, why the grooves?
Well, the grooves are there to help remove the debris. as you're drilling into the whatever material.
So this acts just like a regular wood bit and helps to...
Right, excavate the hole.
Now, how does this work? Just drill away, just like a...
Right, just drill away like a regular drill.
Now, do you have to lean on this, Roger?
No, don't lean on it. You know, give it light pressure, but steady pressure.
Okay.
Okay, Steve, now hold it. Here we want to take this bulb and blow out the hole. Keep it clean. Otherwise, you'll wear that carbide right out.
Really, even that little bit of dust will start to wear this carbide out?
Right, it just, it acts as a grinding agent, actually. Okay. See, that's a little bit faster.
Yeah, that's terrific.
But
I noticed
that's
that
not quite fast enough for me.
Yeah, I noticed you guys are using a big pneumatic drill. Where's
Right.
that?
Right. What we have here this is like a jackhammer, except it has the features of a regular drill.
Yeah, you got an air hose here that runs back to your truck, and
what you have is a pneumatic version of the
rotary hammer.
Of the rotary
So
hammer.
this hammers and hammers and rotates at the same
But
time.
the distinct advantage to this, besides being more powerful, is that you have in the tip of the bit here, you have a little air hole.
And that's this little hole right here?
Right, and what that does is it blows the dust right out of the hole.
Now, is this also a carbide tip here?
Yes, right, that's a heavy piece of carbide on hardened steel.
Well, let's see how this works.
Okay, Rich? Give us a couple seconds and we'll have full head of steam here. Okay.
Sounds serious.
Why don't you try a test hole here?
Okay.
And then we'll
Now, what's the trick on this? Just
give it steady pressure.
Steady
you don't
pressure.
Have to let the tool do the work. Well, you gotta steady that. All right, now let's...
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's a lot faster. Let's try it on the on our stone here.
Okay.
Now we want to put 6 holes in this. I could do it with 3 and break the stone, but with by doubling up on the numbers, I'm going to put more force on the stone that'll cause it to break off, hopefully nice and smooth as this face here. So we want to come along and space them something like that. In a little more. Now you want to make sure you go at least to the depth of the wedges.
All right.
Because
do you put a
otherwise
mark on there or something with your crayon to
No,
know your depth?
you can go in the full length of the bit, and
Oh,
then
okay.
you'll know you'll have gone at the correct depth.
And we want to go perpendicular to this plane here.
Yeah, you want to go straight in.
So I just let her rip?
Be my guess. Now, let me show you a little technique here.
Okay.
Is to get this started, you stand on top of the stone. That keeps you away from breathing the dust, and you trap the bit in there and start it.
Okay.
Now what we want to do is we want to put these feathers and wedges in.
What's the trick for that?
Let me put my coffee over here.
And thanks for getting me a cup, by the way.
Oh, you were busy. Now, you want to get these feathers so that they sit in, feathers and wedges in, so that they sit in here, that the force is going to be spread that way. We want to break this off that direction.
So one wedge on this side, one wedge on this side.
Well, one feather on that side, then a wedge down the center.
All right.
And you want to get the wedge seated in the hole as deep as possible. Now, some of these feathers are worn more than others, so...
Now, are these matched?
No, not necessarily. Some are worn more than the others, and you want at least one worn one on the hole. See how that one sits in there nice and tight?
So you want a worn one and one that's not so worn
Right.
together. All right.
All right, why don't you give it a whirl here?
Okay.
You want to get them sit in there. The lower they are in the hole, the more force it gives.
This one looks worn. This one looks not so worn. The lower they sit in the hole, the more force it gives.
You don't want to drop them. You have to sort of keep some pressure on it. There you go.
Now you work this.
Beautiful.
So we're all set with our wedges and feathers. What's next?
Well, this is the delicate part. You know, as you're tapping into the stone, you have to do it evenly and slowly. The slower you go into the stone with the wedges, the more evenly it'll split off. And you'll hear, as you're hitting the wedges, different sounds coming from the wedges. And when you're all the way through, you'll hear a thudding noise.
Really?
All right, let me get it started.
So you go back and forth across the stone evenly.
Right, and you notice I'm not really, wailing on it. I'm just giving it a good even hit. Try it.
Now I notice a little bit different sound. Is that?
Yeah.
Sounds really.
Don't rush it.
Now, what am I listening for here?
You'll hear the resonance of the hit change from sort of a pinging noise to more of a hollow noise.
Okay, I start to hear it now.
That means your crack is working.
Now just suppose we get all the wedges down and nothing happens.
Well, then we've done something drastically wrong, or we'll just drill some more holes.
Okay. Just asking.
I can see a crack starting now.
Oh, I hear the change in pitch right there.
Yeah. See here?
Yeah, you can see it opening up right here.
Right.
Look at that.
It's that hollow thud noise. See, this wedge is up a little further than the other, so you work that down. That'll take your crack all the way through. That one's already bottoming out. That's why it's bouncing out of the hole. Don't even bother with it.
Don't even bother with these?
Yeah, just that one. That'd be fine. All right, now you want to retrieve these. They're all loose. You don't want to lose them. That'll come out easily once we get this hit down some more. All right, now hit this down a little bit more. All right. There you go.
So I just pull this feather here?
Here, let me just open it up with this crowbar. Oh, good, you got it? Now, the one that's in tight, we'll just open this a little bit, and out it comes. Now, we're going to see what we've done. Watch your fingers now. Here, take a rock, jam it in there, and we'll get another bite. Now, it's going to come towards you.
Beautiful. Well, that was a lot of fun. I learned something, and I think it came out pretty well, too. Well, it's from rocks to kitchen design. Earlier, Barbara Wickwire and I went over to a kitchen design center, and with Glenn Berger, we laid out her new kitchen.
Barbara, kitchen designers worry about this triangle between the refrigerator, the cooktop, and the sink, and I think we've got it pretty well laid out.
I think it looks great.
For the last couple of weeks, Glenn and Barb have been working on a kitchen design, and I think you've got the geometry pretty much nailed down, but what have you chosen for cabinets?
Beautiful cabinets. Come and see.
Now, I don't have a display with exactly the design that Barbara chose, but I have a display that has the same construction by the same manufacturer. And this is a door that is similar to Barbara's door.
So her cabinets are going to look like this, right?
That's right.
Now, what material is this?
Now, this is a solid wood door. It's made up of solid wood strips that run horizontally, and then on the edges, a vertical strip. And that allows us to put a detail.
Nice. And what's the finish here?
The finish is a polyurethane enamel, very hard, very resistant to scuffs.
Now, this is what, got an OG on it here?
That's right.
And is this the edge detail you've chosen, Barb?
No, we're going to have it more like this, a quarter round.
Nice. And in white. And, oh, these have the European hinges. Have you chosen those as well?
No, actually, we've chosen a different type of hinge that will allow the door to open more fully. We didn't want it to stop at a 120-degree angle.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, how about base cabinets? Anything special about the base cabinetry?
Yeah, in the base cabinets, we have lots of things, and here's an example of a pull-out shelf.
What, do you like those, Barb?
I like that. I like not having to look and search for what's under the cabinets.
And the rest will be just standard shelves in the bases?
Yes, all adjustable.
Good. Now, how about drawers?
The drawer construction is an excellent construction in this cabinet. It uses a process called a sliding dovetail, and that interlocks the side and the front of the drawer.
That's this right here?
That's right.
That's a nice feature. Let's see, now, where the west and the south walls meet, you've got a dead corner there that usually is kind of a tough problem in kitchens. How have you handled that?
Well, there's a relatively new item in kitchen design. We have it over here. This is a corner pull-out shelf.
So this is normally where you use a Lazy Susan.
That's right.
Well, this is great. A lot of storage here. This one pulls out too, huh?
That's right. And it gives you a lot more storage than a Lazy Susan would.
That's terrific. Now, let's see, there was another problem. I think right next to the double wall ovens, there was kind of a knee brace there or something. How have you handled that?
That's right. Over here we have a pull-out shelf, pull-out pantry. And the door is not hinged. It's attached to the pull-out shelf unit, and you have adjustable shelves there for a pantry.
That's great.
Good solution.
Yeah, you've really found storage everywhere. And you also have an island, and it's not a round island like this one. It's a big square island. You must have found some place for storage there.
Well, what we did there is you'll see the dotted line is the plan of the cabinetry, and the dark line is the plan of the countertop.
Mm-hmm.
On the cabinets, we have 3 doors on this side and 3 doors on this side, and all open inside with adjustable shelves. So you can pass through whatever you want to get at.
Well, that's great.
The countertop has a healthy overhang on both ends for stools to be stored, or you can sit at it and work.
Now, this island is a standard 36 inches high, and are your counters also a standard 36 inches high?
No, we've asked Glenn to make them 37.5 because Lynn hasn't been comfortable when he's made bread, and he wanted a higher counter. And I want him to be happy making bread and doing dishes and whatever else he's going to do in the kitchen.
I don't blame you. Well, it sounds like a great plan, and I can't wait to see the cabinets go in.
We look forward to it.
I think Barbara Wickwire is fortunate indeed to have a professional kitchen designer working with her on her kitchen. Professional help there really pays off. Well, next time, we'll be installing the remaining elements of our landscaping, and Norm has promised us progress on his little project to turn some of the old barn board into paneling for the library. So until then, I'm Steve Thomas for This Old House.
Funding for This Old House is provided by Parks Corporation, makers of Carver Trip wood stains, clear finishes, and enamels, products that enrich, protect, and preserve the natural beauty of wood. And by State Farm Insurance and the more than 17,000 State Farm agents. For family insurance needs, auto, home, life, and health, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is PBS. This Old House is made possible by members' support and by a grant from Phillips Brothers Supply, 2525 Kensington Avenue, Amherst, specializing in tools for contractors, industry, homeowners, and hobbyists.